Lights, camera, action.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to Married to Movies. I am Emily.
And I'm Jono.
All right. And today we're going to be talking about the Muppet movie.
Yes,
Now,
the 2011.
yes, I was just about to specify.
Actually, technically titled The Muppets,
Yes.
because the original, very first Muppets movie is called The Muppets movie. That is not what we're talking about. We are talking about the 2011 The Muppets movie.
Yes.
So we're excited to jump into it today. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, stop this right now. Go to Disney Plus, watch it, and then come right back here.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and start us off with some introductory details. This movie was released on November 12th of 2011. Do you know how to pronounce the director's last name?
I tell you the truth, I didn't even look at it.
James Bobbin, I think it is. Bobbin. Bobbin.
That's how I would pronounce it.
The cast list is pretty hefty, so I just included like the main people, but I do want to mention some of the celebrity cameos in my fun facts. So these are just the main characters that I wrote down. So we have Jason Segel, Amy Adams, Peter Linz, Chris Cooper, Rashida Jones, Steve Whitmire, Eric Jacobson, and many others.
Yes.
So yeah, because you've got like the celebrities, but also the people who voice the Muppets, like
yes.
So many people. So
And don't forget, also starring in this movie is the Muppets. So you've got Kermit and Miss Piggy and Gonzo and Fozzie Bear and a lot of others.
Thank you
Yes,
for that.
I just wanted to clarify.
All right, moving on. This movie was distributed by Walt Disney Studios. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 43 minutes. It is rated PG. Is
it really under 2 hours?
It is under 2 hours, yeah.
Man, it's a solid movie, and I would never guess that it's shorter like that.
I think that's correct, unless I accidentally clicked on the original.
I'm
Muppets
not
movie.
suggesting that. I'm just saying that, like, sometimes you can kind of tell when watching a movie that it feels like, it's a shorter one. It's an hour and a half, hour 45, whatever. This one does not feel like one of those. I'm just kind of surprised to learn that.
The budget of this movie was $45 million, and the box office total was $171 million.
Very nice.
Yes. So let's jump into some fun facts.
Okay.
So my first fact is that Jason Segel actually helped write this movie, which I thought was interesting.
Yes, it is. That was one of the things I encountered when I was researching. I really didn't know that he took interest in doing things like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure this isn't the first thing that he worked on as far as writing goes, but I thought that was really cool. I'm a huge Jason Segel fan. So to learn that, I thought that was super cool. And I'm glad that he pitched the movie and helped write it and everything back in like 2008. But yeah, anyways.
Next is that this movie won an Oscar. Did you see this?
I didn't know that.
Okay. So it won an Oscar for Best Original Song. Do you have a guess of what song won the Oscar?
It's Muppet or Man, or is that the title of it?
Man or Muppet.
Man or Muppet. Yes, of course. That's a fantastic song.
Yes, I kind of figured that's what you would guess. It's a gimme.
Yeah, of course. And I'm a very manly Muppet.
All right. I'm going to move on to the celebrity cameos. Now, there are probably some that I left out on accident, but I tried to get all of them that I could remember.
Okay.
So we've got Alan Arkin, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Neil Patrick Harris, Sarah Silverman, Mickey Rooney, Zach Galifianakis, Dave Grohl, hang on, I think I have a typo here, Rashida Jones, Whoopi Goldberg, Selena Gomez, Ken Jeong, is that how you say his last name?
I believe so.
Donald Glover, Jack Black, and I'm sure plenty others that I've left out. But
Those
there
are
are
the big
a
ones.
lot of celebrities in this movie.
Yes. And there were actually way more slated for the film.
Really?
Like a lot more. But due to scheduling conflicts, they weren't able to iron them all out.
Gotcha. Next, this was kind of interesting to me because I actually remember this most recent time watching it, kind of wondering, like, because I grew up watching The Muppet Show, and you could always, not always, but a lot of the time, like, you could see the little, like, sticks that were holding their hands and things.
Yes.
And I wondered, I was like, why can you not see any of that in this movie? Like, because I know they didn't really animate anything.
Right.
So I'm sure some of it might have been taken out with, just special effects and everything.
Right.
But I also found that remote controlled versions of the Muppets were used for many of the wide shots.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah,
That's actually super cool.
Yeah. I thought so too. And kind of on that same note, in the scene where Gary and Mary are in the car with like a ton of Muppets that they've picked up,
Yeah.
Jason Segel and Amy Adams operated the Muppets that were on either side of them. So they were the ones that were making them move. Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Cool.
Next, the filmmakers gave Jason Segel the Muppet version of himself to keep after the movie finished.
That's awesome.
I would love to have a Muppet version of myself.
Yes. That is so cool.
And next, some of these are just kind of like funny stories from the shooting. So this one is that Jason Segel said in an interview after the movie that during filming, he saw the choreographer, whose name is Michael Rooney, giving instructions to the movie star Mickey Rooney, who had a cameo at the beginning.
Yes.
And he was like calling him dad. And so Jason went up to Michael and like reprimanded him and like was like, you can't just call any old man dad. And Michael told him like, no, he's my actual dad. so
That's hilarious.
I didn't realize it, but Mickey Rooney's son like helped choreograph.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, I thought so too.
Huh. That's awesome.
And then my next one is that producers gave Jason Segel a feedback card from a child audience member at an early test screening of the film. And the producers attached a handwritten note to Jason's feedback card, and it said, "To keep you humble." And so basically after these children were asked, or after these children watched the movie at this screening, they were asked to describe what they did not like about the film. And this kid wrote Gary's face.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh no. Dropping bombs.
Yeah, seriously. I was like, oh my word.
Gary's face. Brutal. Oh my gosh. Going for the throat.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
My next fact is that the role of Tex Richmond was actually written for Alan Rickman.
Oh, really?
So I'm not sure what ended up, happening there. I believe he passed away after this movie was released, right? Like 2016, I think.
I believe that's accurate. Let me find out real quick. Yes, he died in 2016. So
Yeah.
It was well after this movie.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what happened, why he was not able to be in it, but the role was written for him.
That's interesting.
And my last fact is that the day prior to the DVD release, the Muppets were awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Nice.
And it's located in front of the El Capitan Theater.
Yes.
Yep. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Which is owned by Disney, and it plays the Muppet Theater in the movie.
Yes, I did see that.
So, yeah, that is all I've got.
Okay. So my production details were not overly thorough. So I'm just going to keep it moving. Originally, as we kind of talked about before, Jason Segel helped write the movie and pitched the concept to Disney back in 2008 with the intention of making a quote-unquote old-school Muppets movie, which at the time focused on Muppets putting on a show to save their theater, which came to fruition in the film that we are discussing today. It was originally titled, quote, "The Greatest Muppets Movie of All Time" with 3 exclamation points.
Wow.
I gotta say, I'm glad they didn't go with that
Me
title.
too. That is like putting some high expectations on the film.
Yes. I mean, it's maybe too on the nose. I don't know. Like, there's a certain brand of humor that coincides with that title, which I can get behind, but also, I don't know. I'm glad they didn't go that direction. But moving forward, as I kind of mentioned before, we had a lot of cameos in the movie. However, there were way more slated for the movie. It was going to feature Adam Sandler, Bill Hader, Vince Vaughn, Jon Favreau, Christian Bale, Ben Stiller, Steve Carell, George Clooney, Anne Hathaway, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Mel Brooks, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, which she did make it in, Rachel Ray, Bob Saget, Jeff Ross, and that's essentially it. There's a couple others, but I don't really recognize
some of those
their
are some
names,
really big names.
Oh, yeah, massive names. That's pretty awesome that those were all planned to be on there.
Gosh, I would have loved to see Steve Carell or Adam Sandler or both of them.
I really wish Adam Sandler would have been able to be on there. That would have been hilarious. But there is one star bigger than all of those that was originally planned to be in the movie. I'm not going to make you guess because we discussed it before we started recording. But a certain family friend, as we'll say, to the Muppets was originally planned to be in the film, and in a ironic turn of events was not able to make it. So allow me to elaborate. We're all familiar with Sesame Street, and all of the characters on Sesame Street are technically Muppets. They are cousins to the original Muppets, so to speak. And the biggest Sesame Street star of all time, maybe the biggest Muppet of all time, Mr. Elmo himself was planned to be in the movie. He was actually, so in the plot of this movie, the Muppets are required to get a guest star or a celebrity guest to host their telethon that they were putting on. Well, their plan was going to be to go get Elmo to be their celebrity guest. And it was only going to be a short bit in the movie where they meet Elmo, they're going to have him be the guest, but then, and this is in the movie, Elmo's going to do it, and then lawyers step in and say that it's like they can't do it, and blah, 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 whatever. So that's how they pitched this cameo for the film. Well, ironically, lawyers really did step in real life. Representatives from Sesame Street and Disney said that they were not allowed to do it.
It's crazy.
And I gotta say, I am very upset that this did not happen.
Yeah, it would have been pretty funny.
It would have been so iconic. It would have been hilarious. It would have been a great memory. Like, it would have been so funny. I don't know. I mean, I'd be interested to know kind of what the reasoning was behind it. And in all reality, I think if this movie was made today, they probably would have gone for it. Mostly because it seems like more than anything in today's world, they care more about money than anything. Yeah. If I had to guess, my assumption is that Sesame Street representatives push back only because, not that this movie isn't child friendly, because it is. I think it's rated PG or whatever. So there's like nothing inappropriate in this movie by any stretch. However, like, it's also not Sesame Street. That's the only thing I can make sense of why they may have pushed back. Yeah. But regardless, I really wish that would have happened. I think that would have been hilarious. That is a massive missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me see. You touched on this a little bit, but the production of the film did cleverly utilize iconic sites such as the El Capitan Theater They used that as the Muppets Theater in the film. They also used Universal Soundstage 28 and Google's Zurich, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, headquarters for a handful of scenes. So I thought that was kind of cool. And also, you were talking about the Muppets themselves, like on the show, you can usually see the black kind of poles or sticks, whatever. One of the things they utilized quite a bit for the production of the film was to use blue screens to help give them a clear background to be able to edit stuff like that out.
Gotcha.
So they did use that. The scene where Walter is dancing on top of the dresser early in the film is a good example of when they used blue screen, but it was also a lot of very meticulous puppetry going on, which honestly, if you've never like looked at some behind the scenes stuff for productions on things like the Muppets, Sesame Street, even Yoda in the original Star Wars, who was created by Jim Henson and puppeteered by Jim Henson, by the way.
Wow.
Or like Bear in the Big Blue House, things like
great
that.
show.
Yes, phenomenal show. Live puppeteering in puppetry is amazing. It is a performance like really nothing else in cinema, and it takes an insane amount of work to be able to do it well. So I have a lot of respect
Yeah.
for puppeteers. I think that's very cool. What else do we have? Obviously, one of the Muppets' signature songs was brought back for the film, The Rainbow Connection, which originally debuted in The Muppet Movie, which is 1979, what we were talking about at the very beginning of the film. What else do I have? We've touched on guest cameos a couple times. Fun fact, Katy Perry and Danny Trejo both recorded scenes for this film, and they were cut.
Really?
Yes, and I gotta be honest, I would have loved to see both of those, but especially Danny Trejo. That would have been awesome. Especially just like whenever he shows up in a kid's movie like Spy Kids, like he always has a certain brand of comedy that like he does well, and I would have loved to see him in this setting. And I believe, last thing, I thought this was an interesting tidbit. So obviously the Muppets, like you were talking, Jason Segel, like they made a Muppet for him, like a Muppet version of him. They ended up giving it to him. Almost all of the Muppets were completely rebuilt for the film, and they actually updated their visuals for a modern audience, which a lot of them were just slight things, but they did not use like any of the older puppets. They made completely new ones for this movie.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yes. And that is all that I have.
Okay, so let's hear your rating, John.
Oh man, you're going to make me go first?
Yeah, I'm going to make you go first.
Wow. Okay. This is really hard for me to score because I really like this movie, but also it is not Interstellar.
It's
or
definitely
Oppenheimer
not
or
Interstellar.
Even Die Hard, Dune. It's not
This is
close
the
to
hardest
those.
thing when we do movies like this, because you've got to be able to separate them from these like crazy amazing movies.
Yes. Yeah, and I feel like early on we probably didn't do the best job of that. But it's okay. We're here. We've learned our lesson. And I'm still going to struggle with scoring it appropriately.
That's okay.
So I am going to give this movie an 87.
Okay.
Only because I'm splitting hairs. I keep going back and forth between 88 and 86. Not for any super specific reason, but it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun. I really don't care for musicals in the slightest, to be truthful.
Which makes me very sad.
Yeah, they're okay. It's not my cup of tea. Most of the time, because the music numbers, like, are just stupid. Like, not to be, like, I don't know. I might be, like, starting some fires right now. I'm not trying to, but like there are certain ones that I can get behind, like Hairspray. I don't like musicals, and I love that movie. It's genuinely funny, but it's a well-done musical. I can watch Grease. I enjoy Grease, and this movie is fantastic. I also like Hello, Dolly. That was a good one. But anyways, I'm slightly getting off topic here. I don't love musicals, and I like all the music in this movie. So that makes it very enjoyable. Also, I mean, the Muppets are a very special brand of humor. And it's great to be able to be, I guess, in kind of that realm again while watching this movie. I very much so do miss the Muppets show as a whole. And obviously we can always go back and rewatch it, but it's just, it's harmless, it's fun, it's lighthearted, but it's also like, I wouldn't say there's like mature themes or anything like that, but it's real humor. It's not like, it doesn't pander one direction or the other. It's family fun, and it's just good. It's well done. So I very much enjoy that as a whole throughout this movie. Obviously the characters are very enjoyable. I love Jason Segel, so very fun to have him as a lead. Amy Adams is always entertaining. So yeah, I don't really have any complaints or anything like that. But I guess those are just some of my thoughts off the top of my head.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give it an 88,
Okay.
89, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I think one reason why it's so high is just because this is a nostalgic movie. Like I said before, I grew up watching The Muppet Show. Like I had a couple seasons on DVD, and like I think we might have mentioned this on our last episode when we were introducing this movie, maybe we were just talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
But like when I got my wisdom teeth out, like you and I binged The Muppet Show, and I ate mashed potatoes. Like it's just
that's a special memory for us.
Yeah.
The Muppets will always hold a special place in our heart, especially because like at that point in my life, like I had seen the Muppets, but I had never really like truly watched them. Like throughout going through grade school and middle school and high school, like I always had a teacher that would put on the Muppets. So I've seen them plenty of times and stuff like that, but I had really never watched them. So being able to, I guess, experience that with you is always going to hold a special place in my heart, because it was, you had your wisdom teeth taken out. There's really not a whole lot to do, especially in like the early stages of that. So, I would run to KFC and get you food, and we'd just watch the Muppets.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was hilarious and enjoyable. And so, yes, we're always going to be a little bit partial to that. But also, it's just good stuff. For as much comedy as there is in the movie, there's also, like, heavier things. Like, Kermit and Miss Piggy having to work out, like, their relationship differences and problems. Like, it's not... What I appreciate about it is that in moments like that, like, yeah, there could be, like, a joke during the conversation, but they're not trying too hard to make that funny.
Right.
Like, it's natural. Kermit might have, like, a good one-liner when they're talking about that, but, like, it's very much, it's taken seriously, because to those characters, it is a serious problem. So I appreciate that it's not just, like, 100% silly 100% of the time.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You have any favorite scenes you'd like to talk about?
Man, I don't know. One that comes to my mind just off the top of my head is when Fozzie Bear and Kermit go to get Gonzo, and he's like, wow, you have 60 seconds. Like just the whole sequence with Gonzo for the first time is hilarious.
I love Gonzo.
Yes. So they go and, they're like pitching to him this plan, but they don't actually get to pitch the plan to save the theater to him, because Fozzie is like whispering in Kermit's ear whenever he tries to talk, and he doesn't actually get the chance to tell Gonzo. And Gonzo tells him, he's like, you've got 30 seconds or 60 seconds or whatever. And so they completely run out of time, and then they stop him and say like, hey, we got to get the Muppets back together. And he rips his suit off. He was wearing the Gonzo
Gonzo the Great.
Yeah, Gonzo the Great. He was wearing that suit under his like a work suit the whole time. And then he has a self-destruct factory button. Like, that was probably maybe makes me laugh harder than it actually should. I don't know, but that scene cracks me up when he pulls that out and presses the self-destruct button. I love that. Also, when the Muppet version of Miss Piggy, whenever she's on screen, that always cracks me up. Just like, her voice is so, I don't know, it's such a caricature. Like, it's just very funny. I can't even remember any of the lines that she says. It was when her and Miss Piggy are like going back and forth, and she's like, yeah, sister. Like, I can't even do it justice, but she just like, I don't know, her voice is so unique and just funny to hear. So I enjoy that. Oh goodness, what are some other really good scenes? I don't know. I thought when they go in to pitch does Kermit go by himself? I don't remember, to talk to Tex Richmond or whatever his name is, and just ask for the theater back. And he like does a full blown music number.
Yeah, I think there's several. There might be all of the Muppets with him.
They may
either
have
that,
gone
or
all together.
maybe it's just him and Gary and Walter and Mary. I don't remember, but
well, anyways, yeah, he does this whole music number, and Kermit's like, "You could have just said no." Like,
yeah,
I think that's hilarious. And then obviously, like, anytime that Kermit is singing the Rainbow Connection, that's super special. I love that song. But yeah, those are just some of the things that come to my mind. What about you?
This is not like a favorite scene. It just makes me laugh. When the gang goes to get Fozzie first, and they're out in his quote unquote dressing room that's literally in an alley.
Yeah, it's an alley.
And I can't remember what he says, but like all of a sudden you hear like gunshots and like
oh
see
my
the
gosh,
sirens,
yeah,
or the lights and the sirens going by, and
there's gunshots in the background.
He just like continues on talking like,
yes,
this is just a normal thing.
Yes,
but oh my gosh, it makes me laugh so hard.
Yes, that was hilarious. That could be the reason Elmo's not in the movie, because there's gunshots in one scene.
You're probably right. I also like the whole montage of them getting like all the different Muppets, and I love when Jack Black is on stage and they're doing the rendition of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yes.
With the barbershop quartet. Yes. Mostly because Beaker is probably my favorite Muppet.
Really?
Yeah. I've got a three-way tie. I'd be interested to hear what your favorite Muppet is, or top few.
Yes. Let's hear who is your favorite Muppet.
Okay. I think I've got a three-way tie for first. Gonzo.
Okay.
Beaker.
Okay.
Swedish Chef.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Swedish Chef, like when I would watch The Muppet Show, like his little sequences and scenes were like the one that I would look forward to most. Like, and
yes.
Same with Beaker. Like in this movie, Beaker has such a small role and it's like
Very
not super funny.
So.
But
yes.
like in the actual Muppet Show, like I loved his scenes with what's his face? The guy that looks like a cantaloupe with glasses. What's his name? I think it might be like Dr.
Oh my gosh.
Melonhead or something.
The cantaloupe with glasses. I know exactly who you're talking about. I do not know his name, But yes, the whole science.
Oh, it's Dr. I was very wrong. It's not Dr. Melon. It's Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. So I was,
Oh, honeydew.
I was thinking of melon.
Yeah.
So
I mean, honeydew is a melon. Yes.
yes. But yeah, I loved their little bits too.
Yes. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, I would say, I mean, everybody loves Kermit, right? He's got to be up there. But really, I would probably say I would have a tie between Gonzo and Fozzie Bear. I've always liked Fozzie Bear. I think he's hilarious. Just the deadpan, sarcastic, or pun. Just his sense of humor is hilarious.
I also love the Muppet version of Fozzie when he's like, Waka Waka.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. Yes.
My favorite scene out of the whole movie is probably, one, I love the beginning sequence when it's showing Walter and Gary growing up together. I love that whole thing, like seeing them like when they get measured on the wall and like their things like watching the Muppets even like into their adulthood.
Yeah.
But I also really love the ending when they realize that they haven't raised the money that they need and basically it's over and they walk outside and like there's just hundreds of people waiting out there for them, like cheering and everything. Like it makes me like tear up a little bit just because like it's just so sweet, like, and touching, and I love it.
It is.
Yeah, but
all right, here's a question for you. Who's your least favorite Muppet?
my least favorite Muppet.
Yeah. Do you have one? I most certainly have one.
What's yours?
I want to hear yours first.
I mean, I'd have to think about it some. I don't. Gosh. I need to like look up a list so I can get a full. Animal is also one of my faves.
Everybody loves Animal. You have to love Animal.
Yeah. Gosh, John, I don't know. Truthfully, this is gonna be controversial.
Okay, I'm excited.
But because I almost said this earlier, but I was like, surely there's someone I like less, but I don't want to be taking up a bunch of time trying to think. I have never, like in all my years of watching this movies and show, I've never liked Miss Piggy.
Actually, I knew you were going to say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She is not my fave. Never has been, so.
Yeah. I mean, knowing you, like, I can totally understand that.
What's that supposed to mean?
I just, like, I know you well. Like, I get it. I feel like mine is mean. It is a little bit mean. My least favorite Muppet is Scooter.
I love Scooter.
He's a little nerd.
That's why you don't like him?
Oh, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. He just, I don't know. At least in this movie, just what purpose do you serve?
I love him.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm stirring the pot a little bit.
Do you know another Muppet that I love?
Who?
Pepe.
The prawn.
Yeah.
That guy.
I love him.
He's so unhinged. That guy. Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Oh yeah. He's probably. I've just got so many favorites. He might make it into my top 5 though.
Really?
He is hilarious.
Nice.
Okay, sorry,
Yes.
kind of got us off track there. But,
No, that's fine.
I think that's all my like most favorite scenes that I can think of right now.
I really like Deadly in this movie.
Yes, I do too.
Originally, he's referred to as Uncle Deadly.
Interesting.
Yes. But, I mean, that's a pretty sweet name, Deadly. And he's a blue dragon, which is pretty sweet. But, yeah, I love when he betrays Tex Richmond and he decides to help out the Muppets and
Yeah.
like throws him off of a
Power line or something?
no,
Or no, not a power line.
it was like a telecommunications tower, and he like throws him off of it onto a roof, and like, this is a maniacal laugh. I don't know why, but he always just his voice reminds me of one of our pastors from our former church who's from South Africa.
Really?
Yes. I don't know why, but like his voice to some extent reminds me of that, and it cracks me up.
That is so interesting.
Yes, it's just the voice. Like, I don't know. There's something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't know that I have a whole lot more to add.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
One thing I have never seen is the sequel to this movie.
I have seen it once. I don't remember much about it.
It's called like Muppets Most Wanted, I believe.
Yes. I do remember kind of feeling like, nah, it's okay.
Really?
After I watched it, yeah. Just because this one was so good
Yeah.
that it's hard to live up to. But
Yeah. What about this movie makes you feel like it's so good?
truthfully, probably just the nostalgia, and I love the character storyline that they chose, like with Walter and him not fitting in, but him like being, finding his place with the Muppets, and I love Jason Segel and Amy Adams as the leads.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of them trying to get back together to put the show on again. So yeah, I really just overall enjoy this movie a lot. So
Yes, I would agree. I think nostalgia definitely plays a big factor in it. I think they lean into that very well, just in terms of what the idea of like, we got to get the band back together type thing. Like everybody loves that type of stuff.
yeah,
It reminds you of simpler times and stuff like that. And even like that's kind of the thread of the movie, right? That Walter and his brother, what is Jason's character in the movie?
Gary,
Yes. That Walter and Gary, like they grow up just totally invested in the Muppets. They always watch the show, and you get that sequence at the beginning of them like growing up from little kids up to adulthood.
right?
And they're always watching the Muppets together, which is really sweet and endearing. But then it just out of nowhere, it ends, and then you kind of get to, I guess, go on that journey with them of bringing the Muppets back because the movie itself is bringing them back. But I think they really leaned into it well and executed that overall feeling of nostalgia very brilliantly, I guess. Tactfully maybe is a good word. But yeah, I think one of the things that makes the movie feel like it's so good is the overall feeling that it's authentically Muppet or Muppets. It feels very genuine to the original source material. It feels like something that would have come out of the original show.
Yeah,
And it's heartwarming. It's endearing, right? I mean, they quote unquote lose, but they don't actually lose. They won, and they like really won, and they're supported by everybody. And I don't know, like it's something that you could put on with and watch with anybody.
yeah,
You don't have to worry about anything, and anybody can enjoy it. Like I said, it doesn't pander one direction or the other. It is genuinely funny. And I mean, who doesn't love the Muppets, right? If you don't love the Muppets, then let us know, because I guess I would like to meet you. I'd be interested to know what an anti-Muppet person is like. And honestly, you're probably not even listening at this point if you don't like the Muppets. But anyways, I'm guessing that just about wraps this podcast up. Am I right?
I think so.
Okay. Well, thank you all for listening. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's been a lot of fun taking a, I guess, strong diversion. Last week we covered Dune. which is very much a different movie than this. So it was nice to kind of do something that's much lower stakes.
Right.
And also very nostalgic and heartwarming. And next week we are doing another very strong pivot in terms of genre, because we are going to be covering Knives Out.
Great movie.
Next week. Yes, phenomenal movie. Although be warned, there is definitely language in it, a little bit of violence and so on. So anyways, make sure it's appropriate to watch if you choose to watch it. But we are going to be covering this movie. It is a true through and through whodunit.
Yes.
Which is maybe what's the most fun about it, is that you get to experience the twists and turns of the mystery, like watching it unfold. And I truly was taken back by this movie. I was taken by surprise when I watched it for the first time. So I'm genuinely excited to cover this movie.
It is not currently streaming anywhere for free. So you do have to rent it if you end up wanting to watch it.
Yes. Yeah. It's very unfortunate, especially because Netflix owns the IP, because they're the ones who made Glass Onion, the sequel to this movie.
Which unpopular opinion, sucks compared to Knives Out.
It does not nearly live up to the first movie. However, I don't know why it wouldn't be streaming, but regardless, that's off topic. It's not streaming anywhere, so if you want to watch it, you got to rent it. It's like $3.99 in the Google Play Store, Amazon Prime, YouTube. So take the time, watch it, and come back here next week where we're going to talk about it.
Alrighty, we'll see you next time.
Bye.